Welcome to episode 17 of the Two Dads, One Mic podcast.
We need some more energy than that shit, man.
Welcome to
tonight's evening out.
Booga booga.
This Halloween.
Right. Welcome to the Two Dads, One Mic podcast. My name is Taylor. This is Mike, and we're back for part two of our Deuce of our conversation about cell phones and social media and why is it good or bad for kids at a certain age, and go from there. But as always, we start with our drink of the show. What is the drink?
We are doing a nod to our first episode when I said we would probably never have Jello shots because they take too much time. And lo and behold, we had trick-or-treating last weekend, and we made Jello shots to disperse. And now we're consuming the leftovers.
Yes, and we're almost done with this pen, and we have another.
So it's I'm not going to take a sip now because Pisser Pop will be coming in at least 2 minutes.
All right.
So we will have planning.
Yes.
In the first episode.
Yes.
And our little hunt session we had here.
Yes, we did have a mouse. Well, excuse me, we do still have a mouse in this little cage area that we created. And we'll see what happens. So
we're gonna hunt that mofo down.
Yeah. So let's just recap the situation.
I have the core memory I need to share.
Yeah.
So I'm not a hunter or anything like that. So I don't like killing anything. I tried like a mofo to kill that fucking mouse.
Peter, he was just kidding.
I didn't. I was just trying to give it a nice
from this earth.
Nice hug.
From this earth.
A nice hug with the end of a 1x1 piece of wood with a big piece of metal on the end.
Yes.
But no, I was out helping my dad in the garden. I don't know what age I was, enough to remember.
I remember you telling me the story.
And there was some rabbits.
Yes.
And there was
baby ones.
A mama rabbit that had made a nest.
Yeah.
And then had just had babies. And so the babies they weren't full running around yet. They were just kind of squirming around and whatnot. And I was out there helping do something. And I was like, oh, these things. It takes a pitchfork and just like grabbing peas off a plate, just dunk, 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 with picking them up. I'm I watched them spear. Everyone was like, oh my goodness.
And this is why they said that Mike's a crier.
Yes. Yes. Sorry. Now back to our regular.
Yes. So let's recap the last episode. So before we got interrupted by the mouse, we were talking about cell phones and the age appropriation.
And we both had a very hard set age.
Yes.
That at the age of 14 and a half and 3 days. We need. I told you the pistol part was coming.
You're right.
See? That's when we would
give our kids
a cell phone.
Cheers to finger in your jello.
Cheers. So that's a lie.
Yeah.
We both said that it was very much in the air based on circumstances and whatnot. Maturity, how they're handling cell phones as to when we feel comfortable enough doing that.
Yeah.
The flip side of it is social media.
Yeah. And so that's
which might be the bigger side of it.
Correct. So that's what we wanted to touch base on today, to Mike's point, that, we want to talk about, when is it appropriate? When is it not? What safety features, and kind of go back into what we discussed earlier with regards to the anxious generation and the book that I was mentioning, the clip notes.
Yeah.
So next question, I guess, what I would have for you then. So when you talk about social media, you have your Facebooks of the world, Instagrams, TikTok, which, go follow us. YouTube, you have all of these things. And it can be very overstimulating. It can be there's a lot of stuff that goes into the social media factor of all this. So my question to you would be is what age would you say, now we talk about cell phones, what age would you say okay, you know what, my oldest or whomever is going to have social media at this time frame?
Yeah. So I think I could very easily say not till high school. On that, but again, I'm not so set in stone that I'm gonna stand on a pillar and talk about say this is, I think this. we haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
Like in terms of mine and my wife's conversations of like the specifics of that side of it.
Yeah.
We're barely getting used to my oldest son having a watch that he can text and
Correct.
call us on. Nonetheless, letting them go on to social media. Based on how hard it is to put social media down for myself, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. I want to hold off as long as possible.
Yeah.
But then you creep in, like we were talking about last episode a little bit, on the social aspect of that. You know, are they going to get left out of hanging out with friends because they're not on XYZ?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the biggest part too. I mean, or at least half of it, right? Half the battle where it's, it's a social aspect and your friends have it. So I want it. But again, there's a lot of shit that goes into this because there's cyberbullying. There's, there's just like, there's things you see that you should be looking at.
Yep.
There's just all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if there's a way to incrementally give them one at a time or anything like that. Like we're a little ways away from that. And there's so much shit and that pops up, right? You talked about this, what's the name of the book?
The Anxious
Generation.
Yeah.
Which I jump back and forth, like to describe myself as the anxious generation. I haven't read the book, but I can picture myself being that generation.
Yeah.
As a parent.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at my kids doing all the shit that I used to do when I was little. I'm like, oh, you can't do that. That's too dangerous. Right. You can't but that's playing outside stuff. Like,
right.
And the social media stuff wasn't even there when I was younger.
No, it was
so like I don't know. It's not like I can go to my parents and say, what did you do? Like there's a lot of situations. How did you like
how did you do social media?
Right.
Right.
It wasn't there.
No, it didn't exist.
We were growing up. So it's, or when I was growing up, you're a little younger than I am, but it wasn't there until I was in college. And then, at that point I had my own cell phone and computer and everything like that. Like, and you learned a little bit about internet safety, but
it wasn't.
I feel like internet safety isn't the same, and you have the safety of all the different apps.
Well, and that's the thing, right? And I'm kind of glad you brought that up because, when you go on Facebook, like the landscape of the entire social media field or field has just completely changed. You're talking like there's half naked men and women. There's there's very inappropriate racial things. There's there's again cyberbullying. Like you could have friends that are picking on your kid, and so it's just like
there's predators,
right? There's all this stuff that goes into it, and it makes it hard as a parent to be like, well, yeah, this is going to be the age. Well, I would rather have it not be at all.
Yeah,
but I understand the dilemma of like there's a social aspect to it.
Yes,
you don't want your kid to be, well, he or she's the only one that can't have this. Well, that's dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't want to make it look like you're being a shitty parent by depriving your kid of these certain situations.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of parents would or should take the approach of like, okay, if they don't have that, you can't just not include them because they're not on XYZ.
You're right, exactly.
Like, and when they get to high school and or whatever age, if they start going on some social media, they will. In my situation, and I'm not saying it's the only way to do it. I'm not saying it's the best or worst or whatever, but I'm expecting for my kid to have ability to text and call before social media.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so there's no excuse that you can't communicate with other people other than just trying to be up and hip with them.
Right.
Right. And just by saying hip, I've now dated myself.
Mike's younger, but he's actually 64.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a great skincare routine. check me out.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
But yeah, so I mean, I guess that's the thing, right? Where, you know, it's a very difficult situation. But then going into the book, The Anxious Generation,
Yeah.
you know, and we kind of talked about this in the last episode, you know, a child's brain doesn't develop right away.
Yep. Yep.
And I think they say it's like in your early 20s where it's like fully developed.
I mean, I could validate that.
Right.
I think I'm still trying to figure shit out.
That's but like at the same time, you know, the child's brain is like, it gets overstimulated, and the brain in this book, they talk about how the brain just rewires itself. And your child shouldn't be addicted to a screen because they need that human to human interaction.
Yes.
I think that they talk about a statistic where human to human interaction for kids has dropped 50% since like a certain year.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah, and it's insane because like when you and I were growing up, you know, like, yeah, I had social media, but it was like, here's your AOL. Like Facebook wasn't even a thing yet.
No.
Like Facebook started, I think, in 2008, if I'm mistaken. Or
No, it was 2006, 7.
Okay. It's 6, 7.
6 or yeah, because it was like I remember being in my first apartment after high school,
right,
in college, and go like, oh, I'm gonna go friend request everybody from high school.
Right. So
I was like, all the people I knew. I didn't know many people. Like I just moved up.
Well, there was MySpace, and you know,
yep, I graduated in 05. So.
Right. And so I guess that's the thing where, you know, we didn't have quite that dynamic yet,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when we were growing up. And so, you know, now it's just completely different.
It is. I had a brilliant point.
Yeah, I lost my thought too.
It's gone.
I was talking, I was just like, all of a sudden, boom,
yep. But no, so I don't know exactly what point I'm trying to make, so I'm just gonna spit words out and see where it goes. Right. So when we were younger, and I don't know, we would have to have one of our parents on.
Yeah.
Which we should have Tom Schneider on.
Oh, man. Good old Tom.
And we will drink the shittiest scotch you have ever had.
Throw it in.
It will be so bad.
No, based off that conversation, it would be like, you think Mike's dad would be Russian, you know, because, you know, it would all drink with our shirts off, and it'd be like,
right.
This is so bush scotch.
You know? Nope. It is. He's just frugal as shit.
Yeah. There you go.
Which is they're in a good spot because he's frugal. So I
gotta do it. Gotta be late.
But no, like it'd be interesting to talk to the older generation, the one above us, our parents, to get a feel. Was there a huge thought of the getting picked up by a dude in an unmarked white van? Which for some, like, for our generation, that is a very real concern.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that our parents didn't have that concern, but was it less of a thing?
No,
because there wasn't social media, there wasn't stuff like you didn't hear, like you had the news to watch and that was it.
Right.
You didn't have the routes of social media to share all these stories. My wife does it all the time. She'll be looking through stuff and then find this horrific story about something. And it's like, it's probably like, oh, I've never heard of that before. But it's probably not that it's never happened before.
Right.
It's just stuff isn't shared or wasn't shared before like it is now.
You're just hearing about more.
Right.
And that's the thing, right? Like you talk about planes and like how planes go down, and you talk about like, you know, just things across the world that, you know, like, oh my God, it's like, is this virus going to come over here? Like COVID, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, back then, like, didn't have all that shit, you know, so they weren't able to like access this information just at the drop of a finger.
Yeah. But so the balance of wanting your kids to have the interpersonal connections with their friends.
Yes.
Right? Person-to-person contact, talking, playing games, not just looking at a screen the whole time. Where that, I don't know if that's just because that was our only option, right? Like we didn't have all the socials to go on.
No.
Like we said before. So was it just our only option was to go hop on our bike and go down the road and play with a buddy?
Yeah. Well,
right.
Right.
Or is that like are we swinging so far the other way because we hear all these stories now, and now our generation is like, fuck no, I'm not sending my kid more than 2 blocks from my house.
Right. Well, and
You know, like,
I think our generation, because we're technically a millennial, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
As much as
We're-
I don't want to be,
we're
yeah,
we're millennials together here, and so I think for us, like we have experienced a lot of shit in our lives, right? And I remember, and let's kind of go back a little bit in time, but like you remember 9/11,
Mhm.
I remember 9/11, and I remember when I first saw 9/11, I was in 5th grade,
Yep.
and so I remember and I know,
ah,
yeah, you're old.
it's your freshman year in high school.
Yep. So for me, it was like I remember the teacher asked me, because we had this, the old shitty TVs on a wheelie cart, you know what I mean? And she asked me, she's like, Taylor, you should go. Can you take this downstairs?
Yeah.
Well, I remember I was going through the hallway, and there was an elevator. You could take the TV down and get to the gym. That's where you put the shit.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing a teacher scream, like, "Oh my god!" So then I peeked my head in, like, see, like, what's up, And then I see her like this, and then I see the plane
Yeah.
hitting. But again, that was the first time for me where it was like, shit, even TV was fucking real at that point. You know what I mean? And so the core memory of mine where, like, that's when I started really learning about things, because it was like, oh my God, this fucking plane just hit this building.
Yeah. It was a different way to consume it.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like now the media itself,
Yeah.
which is one of those things that's another factor of it, just the media in general,
Right.
is one of those that you can't, like, I can't trust anything I see.
Oh God, no. Especially with
I vet it with how real AI is making videos look and do all that stuff. And you can kind of feel it out and see if it's real or not. But it's only going to get better. It's only going to get
more real.
like more real. It's going to be harder to tell.
I mean, they're already making movies with this.
Yeah.
You talk about that fucking what's that demon one? The cartoon with on Netflix.
Oh no!
Oh my God, what's it called?
It's a
The song Soda Pop.
Oh, the K-pop demon hunter?
Yeah, it's that's all AI.
Yeah.
All of that's AI.
Yeah. Yep.
And so at the end of the day, like that already is showing me like, oh my God, we are that far advanced in our society.
Right. And it's hard. Like, I feel like previous generations you trusted the media.
Yeah.
Now I don't trust anything I see. Like, I don't know.
You can't trust.
I don't know who's spin or what backing they have, who's buying them out or whatever. Right? Like, that's the type of stuff that you need to instill, not to not trust anything.
Yeah.
Make sure you're vetting any information you're consuming.
Of course.
Which is impossible. I'm not going to say hard. I was going to say it's more closer to impossible.
Yeah.
To get a teenager to understand that.
Right. Exactly. Because there's going to be things that are going to come up, and we're going to struggle with it because of how real this shit is. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I mean, I guess that at the end of the day, like, I would be more on the, if you had asked me, what the age would be.
I was just going to, let's.
I would probably tell you like high school would be like the first time that I would even consider it.
Yep.
Because I'm not comfortable enough knowing what I know,
Mhm.
and I'm not trying to be a helicopter parent, but I'm trying to protect my kids from what the fuck's out there.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of shit out there, and we've seen it.
And it's one of those, I want to make sure my kid can handle a situation before I unleash them.
Yeah, it's got to be an appropriate scenario where you're like, this is going to be real, and you have to understand that there's going to be shit on here that you're going to see.
Yep.
And we're going to have a conversation,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so the other thing that scares the shit out of me too, and if we ever get some more information out of it or whatever, we might have to circle back to this, but talking to a friend of a dad of a friend or whatever a couple of years ago, on the whole drug stuff, which is a whole nother thing. And also there's like that stuff. But he was talking about apps on social media apps and whatnot that on the phone and how they operate looks just like Snapchat or whatever, but it's really something completely. It's just like the cover or the little widget that's on the phone looks like this, and then when you click on it, it goes into something different.
Right. Exactly.
And that's how kids are hiding getting stuff on there.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you this: like we will have access to our children's phones.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not naive to that situation where it's like some parents would be like, no, just go ahead, do what you want to do. But no, I've heard too many stories. I've seen too many things. I will have full access and I will be looking through everything, and whether you like it or not.
Yes. Yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah. Because I'm not letting my kid go down with the ship without fucking, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Backing them up.
Yep. There's too many scenarios out there.
Right.
So we are both, we're very similar on the same page of high school being the first thought.
Right. 1,000%.
Right. And a lot of that will be situational, what's happening with our family situation and all that stuff in terms of, how many kids do I got to drop off in 8 different places every day?
I told Katie if she keeps it up, I'm leaving. Just kidding. I would never do that.
So yeah. Please though, we're not experts. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. We're just talking. And I think that's the important part is getting with people who are like-minded with you. And even those that aren't like-minded.
Right.
Why are you letting your kid have full access at 14?
Yeah.
Like, tell me why. Like, I don't, and that's a whole part of the whole personal interaction that I think the world is losing. It is, oh, you don't agree with me. Fuck you. I'm never talking to you again. You're the worst. You're the enemy.
Right.
No, it's a different point of view.
Right.
Like, I'm doing what's right for my family and you're doing what's right for your family.
Right.
And if that differs, let's talk about it. Why? Like, I'm honestly just curious on stuff like that. Why do you want to do it? Why do you think that's okay? And not to say it in a way that like, I don't think it's okay, but I don't for my family.
Right.
But I'm not going to ridicule you or someone else because they're doing it differently.
Don't believe
like every family situation is completely different.
Now, you know how these people can tell you what they think about the situation is by our email.
Oh, we have an email?
We do have an email.
That's all no one has used.
That no one has emailed us with. So, but
have you checked it recently?
I checked it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been nothing on
I
it.
have
Thanks to nobody.
Literally.
But if you would like to send us an email with your thoughts on this topic or the topic before on the other episode, our email is 2dads1mike 414.
Yep.
And find it up.
Got it.
At gmail.com. That's the number 2 dads, the number 1 Mike 414 at gmail.com.
Yes.
So on that note, do you have anything else to cover about the topic?
Not necessarily about the topic.
Sure.
We might need to inquire with our next guest
100%
about what their thoughts are.
Yes.
Our next guest, when this airs, our next guest will be someone who we've developed a little bit of a friendship with on TikTok. Is a really cool dude. He's a stay-at-home dad.
Some of you may know him. I stay-at-home dad.
But I really enjoy his posts on how regular it all seems.
Yeah.
Like, the shits are
heavy kid.
And stuff, and he's just calm and cool, collected, and like, hey, yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm now intrigued to talk to him about something like this. What are your views on that?
Right.
Which again is one of those things I would have never expected from TikTok, is having these types of conversations.
I mean, built friendships through TikTok and everything else. So on that note, thank you for joining us for the 2 Dads, 1 Mike podcast. My name is Taylor. That's Mike.
Peace.
Like that transition there.
Yeah.
I was like, bang. Yep. I caught move it.
Nope.
Deep in that box right now.
D. Ow, fucker. God damn, stepped on that motherfucker.